Bienvenidos a la sexta clase de este curso de inglés avanzado completamente gratis. I upload a new video every Monday and Thursday, so make sure you subscribe to my channel to receive notifications. And don't forget, you can also join the Facebook group to download all of my resources for free. Today we're going to be studying discourse markers, both in formal written English and informal spoken English. Let's begin. So first of all, we're going to look at informal spoken discourse markers. Now, you might think, first of all, what is a discourse marker? Well, a discourse marker is something that helps you to break up a text or break up speech in order to give it more flow. Words like firstly, then, finally, although, words that help you to give sequence to your ideas. So, here are some examples of informal or spoken discourse markers. Anyway, okay, so anyway is a discourse marker. It's a word that helps you to change, in this case, leave one point behind and move on to another point, okay? Or to go back to a previous point. An example might be, that's how I started working there. Anyway, what was I saying? So, anyway helps you to stop talking about what you're talking about now and to go back or to change subject. Actually is something which is a surprise. This is to help you mark a surprise, something that is the opposite of what is expected, okay? For example, if somebody says, it's okay if I smoke in here, right? And somebody says, actually, I'd rather you didn't. Actually, no. Remember that actually is not actualmente, actually is de hecho, right? So actually marks a surprise. As I was saying, or as I said, is to get back to a previous point, okay? Sometimes this is when somebody has interrupted you when you're speaking, right? As I was saying before I was interrupted, I don't think it's possible, okay? Como decía, as I was saying. So, again, to return your discourse to a particular previous point. Exactly, absolutely, or totally. We're talking about emphatically agreeing with somebody. For example, I thought the movie was too long. Exactly, 3 hours. Well, okay, well is a discourse marker that's used for a million different things, okay? For different emotions as well, like being annoyed, angry, surprised, being disappointed, or even being relieved. Well, that was unexpected. Well, I've had enough of that. Well, you can get lost, okay? So you've got lots of different emotions in these three examples. Mind or mind you, or having said that, this is also like actually, okay? Something unexpected or contrary to a previous point. Mind you, that wasn't what I used to think, okay? So for example, I could say, I love the Conservative Party. Mind you, that wasn't what I used to think, okay? So maybe I'm saying when I was younger, that wasn't the case, okay? He wasn't able to do it, mind you, okay? So just so you know, he wasn't able to do it is another example. So similar to actually, but something unexpected or contrary to a previous point. Here are some more. You know. This one is used to suggest something is generally known or invite understanding, or more commonly it's used just as a time filler. And I didn't think that was fair, you know? Yeah, so you can see there it's kind of like you're inviting somebody to identify with you. I didn't think that was fair, you know? So that somebody can say, yeah, I know, I agree, right? Or here in the second example, you can see it's being used as a filler. You know, I don't know, you know, it's like, you know, somebody's filling time or they're trying to formulate the sentence in their head. I mean, to justify something you've already said. For example, I failed the exam. I mean, I hadn't slept the night before because I felt sick. Okay? So you're kind of justifying that you failed the exam because you didn't sleep. Okay? I failed the exam. I mean, I hadn't slept the night before. For a start, the first one of several reasons. I had a terrible day. For a start, my car broke down. Then, what's more is to add a further reason or another item to a list. It wasn't a great moment. What's more, I had forgotten my keys. Como junto con eso, ¿no? Más allá de solo eso, también me pasó otra cosa. On top of that, same as above. Okay, so what's more on top of that? It wasn't a great moment. On top of that, I had forgotten my keys. To tell you the truth, tell the truth, or to be honest. Okay, pretty obvious. Yeah, I wasn't happy. Tell the truth, I wanted to kill him. Okay, para decir la verdad, o hablando en verdades, lo quería matar. I wanted to kill him. Sort of or kind of, como like a part of the truth or something difficult to explain, or again, similar to you know, can be used as a filler. So that's kind of true, yeah, but. So it's not exactly 100% of the truth. Or it's sort of hard to explain, okay? Sort of, in this case, is being used as a filler. It's sort of, kind of like, you know, it's like, you know, it's kind of, yeah, it's like, kind of, you know, difficult, right? Okay, here is a paragraph, right? And I want you to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 discourse markers that I want you to put into this paragraph. So here's the paragraph. I had a lot of problems last week. I started to feel sick with headaches and a runny nose. I went to the doctor's and had to sit next to loads of sick people, and the doctor said I was fine and should drink more water. I was really annoyed about my wasted day. I don't drink enough water, that's true. I had to sit next to all these sick people and I just felt worse. On the way home, I left my phone on the bus. What a day. The next day, I felt terrible, and I realized that the person who took my phone was transferring money out of my bank account and texting my wife. She was loving it. She decided to leave me and live with the guy. It was the bus driver. Okay, obviously it's a very stupid story, but I want you to put these 6 discourse markers in the text. Okay, so the first one is on top of that. So we're talking about something bad, yeah, and on top of that, something else. Okay, so I would suggest that the good place for on top of that would be in these 2 places. So look, we have a list, right? I went to the doctor's, I sat next to sick people, I was annoyed, I sat next to these sick people, I felt worse. Okay, so I had this bad experience, and on top of that bad experience, on the way home, I lost my phone. Okay? Or you could put it here. I felt sick, I went to the doctor's, it was a waste of time, I lost my phone, and on top of that, I realized the person who took my phone was taking my money, right? The person was taking my money. Having said that, okay, so that's like the contrary, right? It's the contrary to the previous point. Having said that. So the only thing here is really the water example. So the doctor said I was fine. The doctor said I should drink more water, and I was annoyed. Okay. Debo reconocer. Aún diciendo eso, sí tiene un punto. So I would say, I went to the doctor's, I had to sit next to loads of people, sick people. So I would say, I went to the doctor's, I sat next to sick people, I was annoyed, and the doctor just told me that I needed to drink more water, right? I was really annoyed. Having said that, it is true that I need to drink more water, but I was really annoyed and he's a terrible doctor, right? So having said that means that I said all of these things. There is one element that I agree with, but the rest of it I disagree with, right? So it's with the water. Having said that, I don't drink enough water, that's true. Places where actually could go, these 2, okay? So, de hecho, right? She decided to leave me and live with the guy. Actually, it was the bus driver. Yeah, actually, she decided to leave me. It would work here, it would work here. But if you think it would work somewhere else in the text, please let me know in the comments down below. For a start, okay. Remember, for a start is the first thing in the list of things. So we can put it here. For a start, I started to feel sick. Okay. I would probably change the verb here because for a start, I started. It's kind of repetition, right? So for a start, I was feeling sick. You know. Okay. You know could actually be in a ton of places as a filler. You know, I was really annoyed about my wasted day. What a day, you know, like trying to get somebody to identify with you. You know, the next day I felt terrible. So, I mean, it could go, you know, could go anywhere in this text. And anyway can go in these places, I think. Okay. So, anyway, I had to sit on next to all these sick people. So I'm like getting back to the story. Okay. So I was distracted. I said, I don't drink enough water. That's true. Anyway, back to the story. I had to sit next to all these people. And then anyway, she decided to leave me and live with the guy, right? So those are places where anyway could work. But this is just my opinion. If you have a different opinion, please leave it in the comments or let me know in the Facebook group. Okay, some more fillers. So we have, you know, like, sort of, kind of. Okay, so those are fillers. More fillers we have. Sort of, kind of, like, well, you see, all right, I see. I see. Well, it's sort of like pretty complicated. Give me a second to think. What do you call it? What's it called? What's his name? Asking yourself the question that you are thinking in order to fill the space. So if you're speaking to somebody and you're trying to tell them about a person, oh, there's a guy. What's his name? What's the name of that guy? John. Yeah, so that you're filling the space so that it's not silence. Oh, there's that guy. John, right? So you fill the space. If you say the question that you're asking yourself in your head, then it makes it feel like more of a conversation. Oh, that guy. What's his name? That guy. What was he called? John. Yeah, John. Right? Again, asking somebody to let you think, like asking them permission, is another nice way of filling time. Hold on, let me think. Give me a sec. I just had it. Like, I just had the idea, but it's gone. It's going to come back. And also, when you're having small talk with a person, small talk is like a conversation, like get to know you, or just filling the time, like whilst you're waiting for something. That's a good question. Let me think of how best to answer it. So again, you're like asking permission from somebody to try and answer a question. But you don't have to ask for permission. It's just a filler. You're filling time to make a conversation nicer, okay? Very well put. That's an interesting point. Good question. Okay, it's like filler. It's filling time. So that was informal or spoken discourse markers. But now let's look at more formal or sometimes written discourse markers. So the most obvious ones are firstly, secondly, thirdly, and finally, depending on how many points or paragraphs you have, okay? Firstly, it is important to say blah, 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 blah. Secondly, we should recognize blah, 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 blah. So it's a good way to mark your progress through a series of points. Moreover, additionally, in addition, or furthermore are ways of adding additional points. So I believe X is the case because of X, Y, and Z. Moreover, I believe blah, 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 blah. Okay? Furthermore, I would like to mention. For example, or such as, we use for giving an example, several strange things have happened, such as, in conclusion, in summary, to summarize. We've talked about these before. You're bringing things to a close. So, to summarize, the importance of, on one hand and on the other hand, is to show two sides of an argument, 2 points. On one hand, I think it was a good idea, but on the other hand, he executed it poorly. Not only one thing, but also something else. So to add 2 points together, it's not only a question of decency, but also integrity. As a result, or consequently, to talk about consequences, you have 3 strikes and consequently you have reached the limit. Nevertheless, to contrast to a previous point, it's an interesting topic. Nevertheless, it doesn't receive much attention. By contrast, in contrast, on the contrary are the same as nevertheless, okay? Tesco's is a successful supermarket. In contrast, Asda has been bought by Walmart. These are British supermarkets. Of course, to say something that is commonly known. Of course, on average, women live 5 years longer than men. Okay, so these are some examples of formal or written discourse markers, something which are used to make a text flow better when it's written. So, a similar activity to the last one. Here is a text, and I would like you to include these 5 discourse markers somewhere in the text. Again, there are probably more than one option, right? So here's the paragraph. There are many reasons why I have decided to resign from this football club. So this paragraph is a letter of resignation from a manager of a football club, okay? Director técnico, que se renuncia. There are many reasons why I have decided to resign from this football club. I always have the best interests of the club at heart, and results recently haven't been great. The last thing I want is for the fans or club to suffer at all. I feel like after so many years as the manager, the players would benefit from a fresh voice and some fresh ideas around the training ground. They are a great group of professionals, and I thank them for their efforts. I love football and I love this club, but in my personal life, I would like to spend more time with my family and take a break from football for the foreseeable future. I just don't have the same passion I had before, and I think it's time to leave. I would like to add that many managers suffer from poor relationships with their boards, but the board here has always been incredibly supportive. I wish everyone all the best, and I wish the club every success. Okay, so this is a great statement. It's a wonderful letter, but to make it even better, let's put these discourse markers into the text. So firstly and secondly, well, we're going to look at the first point and the second point, okay? So I would put them here. Firstly, I always have the best interests of the club at heart. Secondly, I feel like after so many years as a manager, the players would benefit, okay? And finally, would be down there, the last point. Finally, I wish everyone all the best, and I wish the club every success, okay? Now, the reason I've put firstly and secondly up here and not in the center is because these are reasons why he's going, okay? So, for example, the results aren't good, and the players need new ideas. These are 1 and 2 ideas of why I am leaving, okay? Talking about I love the club, it's not really a reason for me to leave, okay? You could probably put secondly down here, maybe. Secondly, I just don't have the same passion, maybe, something like that. On the contrary, okay, on the contrary, where would that work? It would work here. So he's saying, I would like to add that many managers suffer from poor relationships with their boards. Muchos técnicos sufren de relaciones malas con sus consejos, con los consejos directivos de los clubes. Pero aquí es todo el contrario, ¿no? Está diciendo, but on the contrary, the board here has always been incredibly supportive. Additionally, so to add another point, okay, so maybe that's the last point here. Additionally, I just don't have the same passion. Okay, great. And finally, on one hand and on the other hand, that would work here, right? On one hand, I love football and I love the club. But on the other hand, in my personal life, I would like to spend more time with my family and take a break from football. Okay? So now it's even better. It was already a good goodbye letter, but now it's even better. Okay, so those were some examples of informal and formal discourse markers. Now it's time for a song. Today's song is Dua Lipa's song from 2017, New Rules. Of course, you know it. It was a huge worldwide hit. And the only reason I have picked it is because it has a list of things, okay? She goes through her list of rules, right? Rule 1, Rule 2, Rule 3. Of course, she could, if she was being more formal, she would say, firstly, don't pick up the phone. Secondly, don't let him in. Thirdly, don't be his friend. And finally, if you're under him, right? But obviously, it's a pop song, so we don't really worry too much about the grammar. So she's talking in her sleep at night. She's making herself crazy, out of her mind, which is an expression, crazy. She writes it down and she reads it out loud in voz alta, hoping it would save me too many times. So basically she's writing down lists of things that she should not do anymore, okay? He makes me feel like nobody else, so he's the only person that makes me feel this way. He doesn't love me, so I tell myself, 1, don't call him, okay? And don't answer his phones because he's calling you because he's drunk, right? 2, don't let him in your house, okay, because you have to get rid of him again. 3, don't be his friend because you're going to end up in his bed in the morning. And then 4, basically, If you're under him, si estás por debajo de él, físicamente, no puedes superarlo, metaphoricamente, right? You can't get over him metaphorically. So she has new rules, okay? Anyway, so yeah, the only reason we're talking about this song is because it says 1, 2, 3 and not firstly, secondly, thirdly. Our idioms for today, we have 4. Ring a bell, blow off steam, cut to the chase, and on the ball. Okay, so 4 idioms today. Ring a bell. Do I know you? Your face rings a bell. To ring a bell is recordarme a algo. Okay? So it's like I see your face and it's like ding, ding, ding. Like I recognize you, but it's not very clear. Okay? So if something rings a bell, it sounds or it looks familiar. To blow off steam. To blow off steam, basically, if you can imagine in the cartoons, caricaturas, when a person's really angry and they have steam, vapor, que les sale por las orejas de enojo. So it's the same. This expression basically means if you, for example, if you try boxing, you can get out some of your frustration, get out some of your energy and blow off steam, which basically means to get out that negative energy. Just get it out. Doing some exercise or doing some kind of activity. Cut to the chase basically means get to the point. Like, tell me the point, all right? Just cut to the chase and tell me what we're dealing with here, okay? So I say, okay, what's the problem? And you say, well, it's very interesting because the idea of a problem is that it's something that you can't solve. And a problem is not exactly how I would describe, and I would say, shut up, just cut to the chase. Say, ya, al grano, dime el punto. Like, cut to the chase, cut to the center of the business. Please tell me what you're talking about. Stop with the big stories and all of the details and everything. Just cut to the chase and tell me the information. Tell me the point, okay? And to be on the ball just means like, it's kind of like being smart, I guess. It just means that you're ready for everything and you're smart. So if you're having a good day where your boss is asking you a bunch of questions, you're like, yeah, the answer is this, and the answer is this, and let's do this, and let's do that, and I have ideas, and like you're just good energy, good ideas, and you have the answers, and you know the answers. It's like you're the expression we use is to be on the ball. You are on the ball, okay? It means like you're in the zone, right? And you're doing like really well, okay? On the ball. So to ring a bell, which is like a memory, like a familiar. To blow off steam, which is to get out your negative energy. To cut to the chase, which is to get to the point. And to be on the ball, which is like to be in the zone. Okay? That's everything for today's class. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can get notifications every time I upload a new video, which is Mondays and Thursdays. And of course, you can join the Facebook group to download all of my resources, including today's class, for free. Thanks for learning English with me, and I will see you next class.